Um, I was gonna say, Musa, if you could nod for me. I think that was Adam Musa, but your camera's gone off. Um, but can someone just confirm you can see this fine, the screen?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, brilliant. Okay, let's go. So salam alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. The Somalis in Tech third hackathon this year. I'm Mohammed. I'm one of the organizers of the hackathon and sort of part of the team at Somalis in Tech. So yeah, the third hackathon, this one is Fintech for Good. We were hoping to see teams build sort of towards a more sustainable and inclusive financial future. I think we've seen that. We hopefully you will also get to see what all the teams have been up to. But one thing's for sure, not only have they got some great names for their products, but some really amazing work took place over the course of a weekend. So I'm excited, and I hope everyone else is as well. Just before we get into the hackathon, I'll just do a good brief intro about Somalis in Tech. Many of you will probably be very familiar with this, but often I find that there's one person who's like, oh, okay, cool. So this is what you lot are up to and what it's about. So I'll quickly go through a few slides to just tell you a bit about our mission and what we're doing, I guess. So what we're trying to do is build a thriving Somali tech ecosystem and provide our community with the opportunity to pursue a fulfilling career in the tech industry. Hopefully a space where knowledge can be shared and skills can be honed. And I think the hackathon is a perfect example of that. Like, loads of people, I'm hoping, will have gained some new skills, met some new people, and potentially friendships and things that they'll actually continue working on together as well. The problem that we're here to solve, we know that getting into tech without a support system is hard, but even once you're in tech, a network of peers is key to growth and fulfillment. Recently, if you subscribe to the Somalis Tech newsletter, we introduced a job referral sheet. That's something that a member of the community came up with. So the point there is, let's say Mohammed Umar works at X company, he will add his name and the company that he works for. And if I was to apply for a role there, I know to reach out to Mohammed first and foremost and get both an inside scoop of the culture, what the place is like, but also potentially assistance and support with my application. We ran a survey a couple of months ago, and we found that about 75% of people in the community received support, help in different shapes when applying for a new role. So that's like a really amazing thing to hear. So if you are, for instance, in job hopping or doing that, have a look at that referral sheet, but also just reach out to people in the community, because that's what we're here for, and it's a space where we can help each other grow. Some other things that we've been up to. So last year we had the climate change hackathon. We've got the mentorship application, AWI. So that's something that we'll be introducing hopefully soon. There's a little bit more about that later. Hackathon. This here on the left, where you could see this sort of, hey, Mohammed, would you like an email introduction? This is sort of one-to-one service that we've partnered with Superlinked, where you get to meet a new person each week, and you can connect with them, build your relationship, build your network. And recently there was an in-person event, and somebody came up to me and was like, they've actually become friends with somebody from this service, like so much so that when they were going abroad, they were linking up. And I've also got that from a few members here as well. So yeah, really amazing. And that's kind of what we've been up to. Here you see a few pictures as well. We had a product specific meetup, so that's something that we're hopefully going to double down on next year. We've got a code club for young kids in London, and just generally a large panel events as well, where we bring people to share their expertise, which is sort of Trainline, the first one, and the picture on the top right is Google. So far, we've got 2,500 Slack community members, which is kind of wild. I wasn't expecting that when we started. We thought it would be sort of a UK-based thing, but mashallah, like people have like are all over have been trying to get into tech and are supporting each other. So everyone brings something really different, which is kind of amazing. We've had over 25 events and we've got quite a few subscribers to our newsletter now. So if you aren't following or aren't subscribing, do so. We tend to feature different posts from members of the community each month, and it's on Substack, so it goes out once a month. So yeah, not much overhead on your part as well if you subscribe. So some of the things to be excited about, in addition to the awesome stuff that you're going to see today, November, which is now speed mentoring at Meta. This is an opportunity for people to just quickly meet different people at Meta. So in the form for it's confusing, but yeah, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp owners, Meta, if you weren't familiar with that. Job referral sheet I mentioned already. Next year we hope to have a job board, and this differs from the referral sheet because hopefully we'll have people like companies posting roles to our community. And the continuation of our local meetups as well, as I mentioned. So we had a product specific one, and we hope to do more of that next year. So it's not necessarily the bigger events that we've had, but it might be like 10 people meeting up at a local spot just to talk about, you know, either a subject specific thing or just generally networking. And as I mentioned, the Awi mentoring scheme as well is something that we hope to roll out next year. This is a collection of places that members of our communities work at. So if you aren't part of the Slack community, another reason to join is we've got a wide variety of members working in loads of different places, sharing different pieces of knowledge and experiences. So if you aren't part of the Somalis in Tech Slack channel, do join. It's somalistech.com. And then you'll see a link and join in the conversation, introduce yourself, and yeah, watch your network grow from there, inshallah. So Fintech for Good, which is what we're here for today. We've got quite a few teams demoing their Fintechs for Good. So we've got Fiqh Stocks, Wayo, Team 5, eMaqal, Tirsa, Money Crowds, Aqon, and Ururi. So as I mentioned, quite a stacked lineup and some pretty good names for sure. So that's kind of what's up on that front. The idea, actually, let me come back to the idea. Here we are. So each team, for those viewing, and a reminder that to the teams, but they're all aware as well, is you'll have 7 minutes to present and show your final product. And then we'll get some reflections and feedback from the judges, just a very brief few minutes. And then finally, over at the end, we'll take a short break and the judges can come together and deliberate on who they think the winners of the Somalis in Tech Fintech for Good Hackathon are. It's a pretty prestigious award as well, I must say. So yeah, hopefully all the teams deliver. I've seen some good stuff so far, so I'm pretty confident. We've got three judges as panelists today. We've got Abdiqani, who's a co-founder and CPO at Bloom. We've got Amal Hussein, who's a principal software engineer, and we've got Hamza Adan, solution consultant at FIS as well. So what I'll do actually is I will stop sharing and I'll just let the judges say hello, just a few words, and then we'll get right into it. And I'll just give the teams a few minutes to settle in as well. So Abdiqani, are you with us? I know you were having audio issues earlier, but you just want to say hello and maybe a little bit more about Bloom?
Certainly. Would you like me to switch on my video, Mohammed? Or
yes,
okay.
Please. If you can, please. If you can't, then that's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Abdiqani Juri, and Mohammed and team, thank you so much for this invitation. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the great ideas that you all come up with over the last day or two. So as Mohammed said, I'm one of the co-founders of Bloom. It's a financial technology startup. And what we're doing pretty much is trying to offer East Africans a way to protect their money from inflation. And this is predominantly offering USD banking services in countries like Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda. And that's about it.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Abdelghani. Amal, do you want to say a few words? Amal was with us last year as well. So we had to bring her back because she was just dropping gems on each of the different teams. Okay, so I think Amal's having a few. Oh, Amal. I'm just scrolling. Okay, let's go to we don't seem to have Amal with us. So what we'll do is I don't think Hamza has joined yet either. So it might be that this all rests on the very experienced shoulders of Abdelghani, inshallah. So what we'll do is we will start and get right into it. We've had a few requests. We had a few requests from teams to just shuffle the order around. So let me see if I've updated mine. Yes, I think I have. We will start with Fiqh Stocks. Fiqh Stocks, do you want to share your screen? You will have 7 minutes. So by the way, I'm going to be a little bit strict on time. So don't be annoyed with me. This is just so that we can get through all the teams, inshallah. So if Fiqh Stocks can share your screen, and you have 7 minutes, and when you have a minute left, I'll just come off mute and interrupt politely, hopefully. So yeah, if you want to share your screen, Fiqh Stocks, let me know if you can't, and we need to give you permissions. Yeah. Mohammed, are you able to share your screen, or Adam?
I need to share. Yeah, I need permissions.
You need permissions, yeah. Okay, cool. Let me just make sure. All right. What about now?
Just checking. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Okay, Adam. I will get the timer up.
Tell me when I'm good to go.
You're good to go, bro. Very good to go.
So, assalamu alaikum. We are Fiqh Stocks for Team 3. We are made up of Hasib, who's done our back-end API, me, who did the front-end design, and Mohammed, who did our product and user product research and user research as well on marketing. So our main problem statement was, how can we help Muslims grow their wealth by lowering not only like the financial barriers and but Islamic barriers as well to open up halal investments. We came across several problems that we wanted to like, tackle. Some of them being like how costly it is to like some of these halal investment options cost money. Some of them take too much time for you to research into them. Some of them require some personal information, and a lot of them, because they're such a limited amount, they don't allow you to diversify your portfolio in any kind of meaningful way. They either limit your options or they just provide you with a not so nuanced take, so you're not able to actually determine from yourself whether something is halal or haram. It's really fundamentally a lack of like reliable knowledge sent to the users. From our survey, we've seen around like 86% of people prefer to invest in stocks for their financial gains, and we wanted to open up that avenue a little bit more. 85% use platforms with like no existing halal filtering, so it's a lot of user work to research those products. 80% find it hard to find those halal options and those financial products, and around 49% spend 20 minutes or more researching. That's around about 20% that spend an hour researching as well. Our solution is a stock research tool. So it filters through existing stocks and uses the public's company data, company documents to instantly show you when a stock is haram and when it's possibly halal. So we have a quick demonstration from Hasib. Hasib, do you want to share your screen so you could talk through how it works and the different options that we have? Is Hasib here?
I think you can possibly do that since it's on local, if that makes
Oh.
sense.
Yeah. Okay, I'll continue sharing my screen. Sorry. Did not have that ready. Sorry. See, do you want to talk through it or?
Yeah, I think probably would be good if you have a demo. But then what we currently do is when through the interface, we're taking the stock. That's the ticker symbol. For example, if it's Meta, it's META, and then we take that. We try to fetch the public documents from Edgar, yes, from this interface here. Then it goes and then fetches those documents, and we have signals that we try to use to fetch the results of whatever it is in those documents, and we decide if it's haram or not. We decided to go with deciding if it's haram or not because that's easier. For example, you can see from a public document if a company is dealing in pork or if it's dealing in alcohol, that it's easier to just automatically say it's haram, giving the user the power and opportunity to do more research on the remaining documents or on the remaining stocks that they intend to invest in. So, for example, we see this for TSN. This bit is a reference taken from their documents where it shows that they deal in pork. So, it says pork includes operations related to processing live market hogs and fabricating pork carcasses. So now the user knows the main reason why it's haram, and then they can also check from Learn More and then see the actual public documents to know why, where exactly it is this decision is coming from. There are like further things we can do to make the signals much more robust, but that's what we could pull up in 2 days. So yeah, that's it for how it works.
So that's a kind of limited aspect of what we think we can go on to do. It's kind of like the bare fundamentals. From our feature, we think we can provide information about the stocks, the individual stocks, about so to help tear down those barriers for people with low financial literacy. We can give more nuanced information surrounding whether a stock is halal, for such as if just because Apple doesn't sell any haram products, they still kind of market and use kind of haram tactics and sourcing materials. So we can provide that kind of touch and go kind of subject to the user as well. We can provide a filtered list of to Islamic financial businesses so that they can themselves provide that work from a limited amount of data to provide that information to their clients. And we can kind of use this as like a software as a service to integrate into other existing platforms. Kind of think of like just a Chrome extension to use when you're doing your normal research into different financial avenues almost.
Final minute, Adam.
That's actually the end of the presentation, but because you have a minute left, I might as well talk about some of the users that we were thinking about marketing to. So like the high tech or like the everyday user would be people who have the, let's say, the technical, not even technical knowledge, but the time and the financials but not the time to be able to invest. So they need someone to kind of go through that data for them to help them know what to invest. And even older people who, even if they do have the time, they're too risk averse and scared of not only like investing in bad stocks, but investing in haram stocks and maybe getting their money from somewhere that's not proper to them. So giving that financial assurance And that religious assurance is something that we aim to do. And that's the end of our presentation.
Perfect.
Any questions?
Thank you very, very much to you both and the whole team for that. What I will do is Abdi, any thoughts from you? Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me switch on my camera. Hamid, Hasib, well done, guys, firstly, for going first and doing a demo. It's never easy. I can only imagine the pressure. So I think you're definitely onto something here. There definitely is a need for this kind of service. I definitely would recommend you guys to persevere more on this idea. I think there definitely needs to be some thoughts around what the business model is. So you mentioned SaaS, but maybe there are other opportunities here to think about offering some kind of API service or integrate or allowing the likes of Wahed or Bloomberg or the likes integrating with your service. You end up being a B2B. So that piece, I think, just requires a bit more in-depth and a bit more analysis. I was actually curious to understand the technology. So what I understood here was you guys probably had some kind of NLP classifier, a bag of words of all the key terms that were halal and all the key terms that were haram. And I guess you did some kind of binary classification. So that's good. I think that's probably a very good start. The one thing I probably would just call out is, when it comes to halal classification, where do you really draw the line, right? Because a lot of companies deal with interest, riba, a whole bunch of things that we would deem unsavory or haram. So that's one thing I definitely would just really drill down, and that probably requires a conversation with someone who's quite knowledgeable on the subject. And I think the last thing I would just say is monetization. How you're going to make money? I think ultimately you want to charge people or you want to charge companies. So thinking about that in a bit more depth, I think would be great, because ultimately, a startup really should in the end make some kind of money, and I didn't see that coming across. But just to recap, I think you guys are onto something, and I think there are a few areas of maybe soft tissue that just needs to be strengthened a bit.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Abdiqani. And yeah, that's quite a few good points for you to take away and think about as well, Adam and the team. What I would say is, well, big shout out to you lot for going first and really setting the pace. So much appreciated. We'll move on to the next team. I hope I'm saying this right. Is it Wayo or is it Wa'ayo?
You said it right the first time. It's Wayo.
Wayo. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Zubair. Over to you.
No worries.
Once you start sharing your screen, I will get the timer on.
Give me a second. It will be just me because I think Liban is kind of sick.
No problem.
So it will just be me.
That's all that's necessary, I'm sure.
I think can you see my screen now?
Not yet. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I think I've done the wrong screen. Can you see it now? No, it's better. Yeah, you see presentation.
So bear with me because we could still see your speaker notes.
Yeah. I'll move that. Give me a second.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, we're good. I'll start the timer. Thank you, Zubair. Over to you.
Okay. All right. So good evening, everyone. We are Team 4, or I, because it's actually me, and I would like to introduce you to our application Wire. Before I go into details about what our app does, let's talk about the problem it solves. The problem on hand is that it's very difficult to verify identity of potential customers in Somali financial products and services. So our team consists of me and Liban, me being a product manager UX, and Liban doing the development and research. So for context, let's say here we have a young man named Adam in Somalia who's heard about crypto in the news and would like to join the booming market. So Adam wakes up one morning and says that he likes to invest in some Bitcoin and wants a bit of this crypto pie. But there's But there's a problem with this. Adam can't access cryptocurrency services or digital wallets. Cryptocurrency exchanges and platforms won't allow Adam to make any account on their services. They don't recognize a Somali document, or the KYC onboarding fails because they don't have the resources available. But it's okay. With Wayo, all he needs to do is sign up and provide his photo identification details for that region, so passport or driving license, etc. Then needs to take a picture for facial recognition to verify the match that the photo ID. Details are checked against reliable sources. Once approved, he connects to Wayo to his favorite cryptocurrency exchange platform and is able to make an account and finally buy the Bitcoin that he's been dreaming about. So currently, the KYC issue. There are more than 500 million Africans that don't have any registered form of identity. As a result, identity verification services that work in the West end up with high rejection rates from this continent. Many countries in Africa haven't been able to develop physical IDs for many reasons. One being that physical documentation is very expensive, or they're not registered. Western businesses don't expand into certain parts of Africa, Somalia being one of them. The lack of formal KYC infrastructure in Africa today creates an opportunity to leapfrog solutions that can overcome this. So why a mobile app? There are a lot of the number of internet users has increased over time, and there are more people using it day to day, and with Africa's digital growth. So with this, let me share, if I could exit this, let me share what we've built. So we built this on Flutter. This is Wayo, the app. So if you register, you have this, the normal registering way to register the application. Create an account or log in, or if you log in, you can log in through the normal account for someone that's new. So if we create the account, so the homepage looks something around this. Active status. So depending on your status, you could do different packages. So we have like gold, silver, and bronze. So depending on your identification status at that time, you could do it. So if you have more, if you uploaded more documents or more ID recognition, you can access more. You can link with your current bank account, and you can link with a crypto wallet to buy and sell crypto, and they're supported by other applications. And also you can invite friends onto this. The uploading document section. So basically, this is what I was talking about before. If you wanted to upload your ID, you basically click the ID button, and then you click country, Somalia or Somaliland, you click that, and then you click the document type that you have. For this instant, national ID card or driving license, and then you do continue. And then if you have the face recognition, same thing here, and then you click, after you've taken the picture, you submit it. Thank you, your details will be verified, and then you go back to home, and then you have your profile on your right hand side. If you can change your password, edit, and support, and that's it really. And if I go back to the head, present, future features that we had that we didn't have enough time to do, expanding into remittance and lending. So if you want to do that later on, we could have. Offer language customization on the app. Obviously, Africa is a big continent; it has more than one language. So depending on where you are, we could have had a feature for that, and AI fraud detection. So basically, this would be using AI to detect certain areas. So for example, if a lot of people made a certain account, loads of accounts in certain areas, that would be suspicious, and then that would flag up, and then we could detect that basically. So that would be another feature that we would have if you had more time.
Perfect. Final minute, Zubair.
Yeah, sure. This is it really. Tech stack we used, Notion, everyone used that, I guess. Really helpful. Slack for communication, Figma to doing the low fidelity and high fidelity wireframes, Flutter to build it, and Canva is what I'm presenting on currently. And then thank you very much. Any questions?
Nice. That was done in style with 50 seconds to spare as well. So strong stuff. Yeah, slides are amazing. And really, someone mentioned bonus points as well for the demo. Really good stuff to see. I'll hand over to Abdi for your thoughts.
All right. Sorry, can you hear and see me?
Yeah.
All right, another quality presentation. Thank you, Zubair. Just very quickly, can we see the picture of Adam again? He's got that whole Jackson 5 hairstyle going. I thought that was pretty cool. There we go, a young Michael Jackson. Again, KYC is such a big thing, right? So having dealt with KYC providers for emerging markets, I've seen firsthand that there's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. So again, you're onto something. Per KYC, a lot of these companies are charging anywhere from tens of cents to a couple of dollars, depending on the services they offer, from straightforward KYC to fraud detection, ID, authenticity verification. I think the problem statement was spot on. You definitely identified an issue. I think the big thing you need to look at is regs, Zubair, because a lot of these countries aren't being onboarded, or customers from these countries aren't being onboarded for one reason or another. Either they're blacklisted, or they're high-risk customers. So it might not just be a case of ID. It might actually be a case that Coinbase and a lot of these crypto exchanges, or really any service, is blacklisting them for regulatory reasons, or they're too high risk. This is something to just look into. The other thing I would say is I would have loved to have seen a competitive advantage slide. So there are a number of companies in the emerging market KYC space doing something similar, such as Onfido, Smile Identity, and a few others. And what they do is very similar to what you're doing. Someone takes a picture of their ID, they extract information, and they verify if it's authentic or not. And a lot of their plays is really B2B. So what they would then do is sell their services to companies like myself, where they would say, okay, Mr. Abdigani, you're trying to run a startup. We can help you onboard your customers. So this is maybe something to look at. I'm not pushing a B2B angle, but it is worthwhile looking into. The alternative for you would be to go B2C, which is what you're recommending. And the issue you always have there is you then have to try and engage hundreds, maybe millions of customers to make your business model successful. So that would be, I think, the other point I would make. So summary, huge market opportunity. I think you've nailed the problem statement. A competitive advantage slide is missing. There are definitely a whole bunch of additional features you could layer on top. Fraud detection, verification of the identity. I think you probably do need to rethink what the form factor is for this. And if you want to go down B2B or B2C, I think those are the key points. But again, well done on a very, very good presentation, and I think very, very clear problem and solution.
Much appreciated, both, and also a shout out for being the smallest team. I'm pretty sure in the end, with only two people standing. So really good stuff, for sure. Yeah, shout out to you lot. We'll move swiftly on to Connect Plus. If we can hear from Connect Plus. Team 5, just in case.
All right, I'll start sharing my screen in a second.
Cool.
All right, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, exactly. We can. So,
okay.
so we can see the code on one side and the slide on the other.
Trying to move these things out of the way so I can start presenting it.
Cool.
Is I lost? Where is it?
All good. All good. We can see your slide now.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So here at Connect Plus, we aim to educate our community of users to help them navigate the world of Islamic finance. So the Connect Plus team consists of Fahma, Nejma, who are responsible for the UI and the UX, Hassan and myself, who are the developers on the team, and Marian, who was our product manager. So Muslims represent a decently large part of the world's population, but it doesn't necessarily correlate to the financial market, since 1%, at least less than 1% of financial assets are Sharia compliant, which makes it difficult for Muslims who want to invest ethically. The market is simply undeserved and untapped and ripe for growth. The issue is most of the time when individuals want to invest, they have to allow others to, essentially there's a lot of outside actors who kind of do the work for them. And then we want to empower individuals to help them make sound decisions based off the information that we'll be providing. So based off our research, there's finding Sharia requirements is quite time intensive. The information has to be gathered from multiple sources and it has to be vetted out thoroughly. And then current solutions for halal investments leave the research to the platform and making the user have to trust them more. So I'll pass it off to Mariam.
Thanks, Siraj. Sorry, guys, excuse me for the lack of camera. But as Siraj said, the problem that we're trying to solve for is essentially allowing people who want to make ethical investments have that knowledge at their fingertips. So instead of prescribing what is ethical to them, we kind of want to be like the crunch base for individual investors and provide as much information upfront as we can. So if we switch to the next slide, we have sort of like a persona. This is Fahia. She wants to invest ethically and is looking for how she can make halal investments and build and support her communities. Her pain point is that she's overwhelmed with all the information about Islamic finances online and all the different avenues to invest. And searching for that information requires her going through multiple sources online to get the most accurate information. So that's where we come in. So Connect Plus would essentially be a central repository for company information and key stats. It's a place where you can learn what is required to be Sharia compliant, and then leveraging the power of community to discover and discuss these opportunities.
Okay, here is the live demo of the app that we made. You'd come in and see these two screens. If you wanted to sign up or log in, you can do either. So here's our main page that would show how much you have in your current wallet, your portfolio, the companies that you are invested in, and then you're learning on investing and or crypto or other investing avenues in how you can do it essentially like in a more ethical and halal way. You could go to the discover screen, and here's where you have your news section about investing news that's relevant to you. So you go to like the Canadian press if you lived in Canada. Here we have the halal investing 101. This is where you would start your like training or where you could read about your halal investing on like how to invest into stocks that are halal, how to, yeah, it'll be that. And then in the community section is where you have more Somali-based companies that you are invested in, like Hermood, Good Acid, or Pure Earth. And when you read about what like halal investing is, when you like have a full understanding of it, then you can go into and invest into companies that are that support that type of investing into it, and then this will show your investing portfolio based on the things that you have invested in like that. And then more news concerning that, but I think that's good on demo, right? Yeah, right, I think we're good. Second.
Yeah. Okay. If you can go to the slide.
Yep.
So yeah, what's up next for Connect Plus? So up next is being able to see high-level stats about companies you're interested in and the latest news about them. So you can search for a company and we'll feed you all the information that you need to know about them to be able to make sound investment decisions. Coming soon is an advanced search. So you can search by industry preference, geographical preference, and filter by company based on their funding round, share price, round type, history, etc. And in the future, expanding the wallet so that you can buy directly on the platform. And that's it.
MashaAllah. Thank you very, very much. Connect Plus. Yeah, you've done it with a minute to spare. So great stuff, and love seeing the actual an actual live demo as well. So shout out to you all for getting that over the line. Let's go to Abdulghani.
All right. Connect Plus. Again, another really good presentation and compelling demo. I think the problem statement once again was very well motivated. The one thing I've seen missing, not just in your presentation, Siraj and team, but also I think throughout this demo day is some discussion of the total addressable market. So what is your TAM? You know, how big is the market that you're going after? Is it a few $100 million? Is it a few $1 billion? I think just sizing that up, and you can get it very, very easily just by, I think you gave a really compelling percentage, which is, you know, is 1 billion Muslims, and they make up less than 1% in terms of ownership of assets. Therefore, you know, if all else is being equal, it could be this big. So something like that, I think, would further motivate why the problem that you're addressing is so important. Having said that, I think you are onto something. I thought the demo was pretty cool. What I liked was how you used analogies such as saying, you know, Connect Plus is the crunch base, you know, for Muslims. You know, we're providing this community Robinhood style application. The one thing I probably would like to challenge is, I think, this notion that people are Muslims are going to be quite comfortable with educating themselves, you know, with all the different types of stocks, what's halal, what's not halal. And I think if I've learned anything is that people are generally lazy, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim. So maybe some kind of recommendation feature. I think in a number of different stock platforms, they allow you to follow really successful investors, maybe thinking about something a little bit more passive like ETFs. So I think the angle you're going with this application is more of an active investment strategy, right? Maybe something that's a little bit more passive, something that's an ETF, you know, that people can just, you know, subscribe to and get like 3 to 5% a year on average growth. I think this could be an interesting concept because you are asking a lot of the user from the demo that I saw. So maybe just reframing it and maybe going deeper into your customer archetypes and asking the question, you know, once you actually put this application in front of them, how likely are they going to use it? How much effort is needed? What is that aha moment where they, you know, where it clicks and then they start to use this more and more actively. I'll stop there. But as I said, I think you're definitely onto something. I definitely would maybe go deeper into some of the behaviors of your customer archetypes and see what would work, what aspects of the app is maybe asking too much. Maybe there's a passive element to this investment solution that you have. And finally, a little bit more data on the total addressable market.
Much appreciated, Abdiqani. Really good feedback. I also heard that sort of crunch base for ethical investors, so really good to just make it relatable for people who might not have that insight. But yeah, some really good stuff and some good feedback. So hopefully you lot will not stop here and you'll continue, inshallah. So let's move swiftly on with e-Maqal. So as I understand, it's a demo day for small businesses and startups, but they'll tell us more. We could see the slides, by the way, but we can't hear you if you. Yeah, so Mahmoud, we can see the slides, but we can't hear you.
Sorry about that. My Zoom disappeared. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool. All right, so our project name is e-Maqal. We help facilitate demo days for startups and small businesses. Here's the team. We have myself at the top, Hamoud, focused on product and growth, Mohamed Oussama, who helped on the go-to-market strategy, Mohamed Adeh, who was working on research, and Mohamed Chama, who was working on the business model strategy. As you can probably tell from our slides, we didn't have a designer on the team. So yeah, we have the problem statements that we addressed are a combination of two. So one, on the investor side, how do we help individuals grow their wealth? And then on the investee side, how can we help them attract ethical investments? So here's an example of one of our users, so user types who are the investors. So these are ideally retail investors, maybe from the diaspora, and also community funds that are like gathered and looking to invest funds. So we have Malik on the right. He works in tech and has disposable income and wants to find a way to invest that back home. And the problem he's experiencing is lack of access to the companies in these markets, and also a lack of knowledge and trust in these markets. And then we have on the other side, the investees. These are small businesses with verified revenue, and they're looking to scale up. And then also startups who are looking to raise capital for their ideas. So on the right, we have Sabrina. She has a fabric store and wants to expand and kind of meet the demand and maybe open up a second shop. And the problem she's experiencing is a lack of access to investors and funding opportunities, and also securing the actual funds from the investors. So I'll hand it over to Mohamed to talk about the solution.
Thank you, Mahmoud. So basically our solution is trying to matchmake between the investor and investees, but the biggest issue is, especially in our community, the lack of trusted business startups. So we're addressing this problem by trying to collect the data, by actually doing the homework. So basically what you're trying to do is, this platform is doing the matchmaking, and for the requirement, for example, what we're doing is trying to get the startup owners, their legal documents, the founders, were they bootstrapped or were their investor, the initial capital expenditure, all this detail, the financial, all this detail for the startup, and at the same time, not very intensive, but as much as available information for the investors. So that's our aim. Our business model comprises of getting some shares from the investors' share on the startup. And if you can go to the next slide, Mahmoud. So basically what we're trying to give, what you call the those businesses, the ability to be invested on through and being seen, but with getting all the details and legitimizing them to the platform by doing our homework. So by getting all this detail, going on the ground and getting all the details that is possible for this, all this information that is possible, and ensuring that this is real and they are making this profit and putting them on platform and having access to all this information that we require them, starting from the legal paperwork to all the financial details that we need, and providing these details to this platform where they can access a lot of investors and trying to do the match. And our business model, as I said, will be giving some shares to those investors, getting some shares from the investor that is going to make investment to our platform. Thank you very much.
Right. And then for the product roadmap, for the rest of this year, ideally, we're hoping to launch the MVP. It's currently live, but we do want to secure valid investors and also small business owners and startup owners in preparation for demo day. And we're hoping to have a demo day in Q1 of next year, where investors can come in and ask questions of the startups. And then in Q2, we're hoping to integrate a more solid validation system. So potentially connecting with the POS system, or if it's a cash-based business, finding ways to validate those funds, which I feel like could be a product on its own. And then potentially in Q3, facilitating the actual money transfer and taking the fee that Mohammed mentioned. So for the product stack, we have a landing page that's currently live, emaqal.live. The tool that we use is Softer. It's a no-code platform. We use sign-up forms. We use Google Forms for sign-up. And then we have an event sign-up page that's also live. So we chose February 1st. Hopefully between now and then, we can find the investors and hopefully validate the idea further. And then on the actual demo day, it would be Zoom. So real quick, I will open up the website. So the website's live, emaqal.live. You can sign up as an investor. You can also sign up to demo your business. And then on the back end, we ask a series of questions. And the goal is to figure out whether or not they're a good fit. And then we also have an option to register for demo day, even as a viewer. So yeah, that's the site. Have an email list, of course. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. How are you looking on time?
Yeah, you got a minute left, so it's finishing early is not a bad thing. But you have a minute.
I think we'll end it there.
Awesome. Nice. And really good to see a live page as well that we can all visit and actually register. So I hope to be there for February the 1st. So no pressure, guys. I'll hand over to Abdighani.
All right, gentlemen, well done on the presentation. I don't think I've seen so many Mohammed or Mahmoud on one slide. First question I had was just around geography. Is this platform for any kind of small ethical business, or are you targeting a specific geography? Just very quickly, because I don't think you mentioned that in the presentation.
Yeah, we intentionally kept it broad, just to kind of see what types of companies would sign up. But ideally, we're aiming for a combination of like brick and mortar stores in like emerging markets, maybe here on the continent, and then also startups. So kind of using the stonks model, maybe we would have different demo days based on the type of business.
Yeah. I think this is another really cool idea. You're basically building a two-sided marketplace with investors on one side and investees on the other. I've seen Y Combinator do something exactly the same, right? So they source the best businesses or startups. They have a demo day where there's like hundreds of investors there, And then post demo day, there's like an entire list of investors that these startups can reach out to, and then deals are made. So it's all great. I think the first point I probably would make is the verification is a really big step, right? So one of the challenges you're definitely going to get in emerging markets is documentation is quite scant or unreliable or falsified. A lot of issues generally, right? And you might find that a lot of these business owners might not be entirely financially literate. So you will find it harder to vet these businesses in emerging markets compared to, say, the UK, Europe, and the US, right? Where it is really verifiable. There are, annual statements and they've got accountants and so on. So this is something maybe just to think about, because I think your business model really does ride on whether you're able to find high quality startups and whether they are reputable and they are making the money or doing and earning what they say they are. The other thing I think I would maybe call out is just around the business model. There is nothing wrong with going down the VC route where you just take a management fee and a percentage on any earnings on the startups, right? So that's pretty standard. I think getting shares and things like that is fine. A lot of accelerators and programs like that take a few percentage, but as I said, you probably want to also charge the investors some kind of administration fee or overhead fee for you to run this platform. So that's one mention there. I think that's it. I definitely, as I said, would think about the verification piece. In an ideal world, you really want to find businesses that are making money, right? It's a home run, right? If you can find businesses, to showcase to investors where you can see money going in and you see that growth trajectory increasing, month by month or quarter by quarter, it's kind of an easy sell. So that's the one thing I would call out. And again, if I saw some businesses from Somaliland or Somalia on there that I thought were cool and were heading in the right direction, definitely as a Somali, I'd be like, yeah, let me put a few $1,000s into these startups. So I think there is something there about expats in the diaspora wanting to invest in startups back homes, whether it's Somalis or Nigerians or Ghanaians or so on. So I think there's something interesting there. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much to Team 6 and Amtiqani as well. Yeah, super interesting, and I'm feeling like I'm suddenly a target audience for a lot of these proposals that we're seeing. We're going to go to Tirso next. If I'm not mistaken, it's around microfinance, but they'll tell us more. So over to you, team. I can see a few cameras on, so good to see.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get the right screen up, hopefully. Oh, just give me a second.
No worries. We won't start the time until you're
I don't think I have permission. 1 second, it's my side. Just bear with me, just 2 seconds. I'll be back in.
Yep, no rush. Just a reminder that after this, we've got Money Crowds left, and we've got Ururi left, and we've got Aqan left, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got 3 teams after this. Yes. So including this, it's 4, and then after this, we'll hear from 3 other teams.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Sorry about that. I can share my screen now. Share. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. We can start now. So thank you very much for joining our session. So Tirso, I'll explain that in a moment. So my name is Ali, and the team name is, so we're Team 7, got Ramla, who's a product designer, Ahmed, graphic designer, Ali is an Android developer, and I was a product manager on this team. So the agenda would be, we'll go through the problem statement, the research, what our solution is, and what the future could look like for our product. So just to kind of give you an overview, so 80% of remittance recipients receive money from one sender. And what that suggests is there's a high dependence and vulnerability on this relationship. And that's something that we've taken from the London School of Economics. What this means is around remittance, if you look at it as an issue, so this is us sending back money back to family back home. So $1.3 billion is sent by the Somali diaspora annually. And as I mentioned already, 80% of that remittance recipients receive money from one person. So there's a lot of responsibility of one family member. And if you look at it for the, during the last 2 years, especially during COVID, if we focus purely on the, the BAME or ethnic minority communities, the unemployment rate shot up and it was quite the biggest. So it went up from 5.8 to 9.8 unemployment rate for ethnic minorities in the UK. And what that has shown is in terms of numbers, at least in the Somali community, we've seen a 50% drop in remittances being sent back. So there's a lot of responsibility on people here, and and there's a lot of lifelines for people back home. So what we thought is, how might we forge a new alliance between the future diaspora generations and people back home that's underpinned by investment, and creating a mindset shift away from the outdated, unsustainable economic models that rely on remittance, charity, as well as aid. So we want to try and get away from that. In terms of research, I'll hand over to Ramla and she'll go through what we've found.
Perfect, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So once we honed in on our problem and how might we statement, we started to brainstorm a bit more on how we can look at different funding models that move away from remittance based funding. And so what we came across was microfinance, and this is a financial service that's provided to low income groups, typically excluded from traditional banking, such as in Somalia, where isn't that kind of central banking. And we found that this is a potential viable solution and a way to raise investment, and using a zakah model, which moves away from the conventional interest-based. So it's a much more halal way of funding. And we also found that this is something that is validated in Somalia already. One of our competitors is or has provided 27 million pounds in microloans since 2014. However, through research, we also found that there was still low levels of awareness. A lot of people in Somalia looking for funding still don't know about this potential opportunity. We move on to the next slide. So we looked at some of our competitors. If we look at some of the few here, we can see that microfinancing, partners in Africa and such are interest-based, so they wouldn't be viable for halal investing. Also, Islamic Relief focuses mainly on welfare. So we looked at our key competitors being KIMS and Micro Dahab MFI, which are players in Somalia at present. However, we found that they focus more on people applying for funding, and there isn't a clear way for people in the diaspora communities wanting to support these initiatives. If you move on to the next slide. We also did a bit of desk research and user interviews. And from our research, we found there were two key personas that we honed in on. Suhair here represents people back home who are reliant on remittance. They receive quite a lot from abroad. However, it's enough only to cover their basic needs. And she has quite a lot of children. And so she doesn't have enough surplus to be able to capitalize on it using the skills that she has. On the other hand, we have Ahmed Abu Bakr, who is a first-generation immigrant. He is an accountant, and he sends a bit of money to his family in the UK to support his parents. However, they send quite a lot back, and so he feels that he's not really aware of the people that are being sent the money. He wants to look at ways and opportunities to be able to spend his sadaqah and zakah in projects that he believes in, and in a more transparent way.
So in terms of our solution, our vision is to be able to empower people to create opportunities for themselves and others through transparent Islamic microfinancing model that gathers funding from the diaspora through a Spotify-style subscription model. So here's Tirso. And we've gotten the name from Tirsa, which means lean in Somali. And if you look at examples, is used in the Somali national anthem as Isko Tirsa. So that's where we got the inspiration from. And the three key components is Zaka compliant microfinancing model, easy Spotify style subscription, and a sustainable, transparent, and an accountable ecosystem. And if you look at this, it allows you to be able to break down the payments into like smaller chunks. If you pay annually, there's a lot more benefit in there for you. So that's the Spotify model that we try to kind of, get inspiration from. And considering the time, I'll maybe want to go through to the demo, and then I'll let Ali kind of go through that. Ali, you on the line? We can't hear you in case.
Yeah, you've got a minute left for the demo.
Okay, just in case Ali is not online, you have the splash screen that loads. You see two things, browse and programs. And within the programs, you can see all the projects that you can invest in. As you click on to invest, you can see some of the projects, select annual or monthly. And if I just kind of skip, you have the payment options. And then here are the texts that we use to be able to do this. All right. And then just one final step in the future, what that looks like, if we have Ahmed online.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So for Tirso's future, we're looking to bring out the future iterations, features such as the credit score building system. So we're giving borrowers incentive to pay back loans faster through gamification. And so for transparency, for the investors to see how much their support is given as a report, as well as personalization for the type of projects they are investing to. Dividends and profit sharing both benefit both of the parties, and in addition, connecting
Ahmed,
wealthy investors in larger programs.
Ahmed, I'll interrupt. Say final word. Just final word. Time's up.
If he just clicks it. This is Suhair, and with Tirso, she'll be able to lean on the diaspora and get her business for future success.
Nice. Very good use of the final word there. Really good stuff. Loving the slides, and just well presented as a team as well, which is good to see. I'll go to, as per usual, Abdighani.
All right, Tirso, good job. Ali, Ahmed, Ramla. I think some of the things I loved was the numbers. Scary, but they were quite informative, especially the market size, the fact that 80% remittances were from one person. I think what's interesting about this data is actually the fact that the next generation of diaspora Somalis, whichever population you want to pick, are losing, I think, touch or connections with those back home, right? So the whole question of remittance then becomes quite unsustainable, I think, as you guys pointed out. The personas were pretty clear. Some of the challenges I had was around your business model. So I think what you were saying was you either pay monthly or pay annually, and then this is a form of zakah, right? And possibly maybe in another iteration of the app, there would be some dividends, right? The disconnect I had is if I had dependents back home, I would be looking for a way to reduce my outgoings every single month, right? The zakat part is pretty important, but when you look at people's spending habits, and maybe this is something you need to look into, I would bet that when it comes to Ramadan, people write a check for a few $100s or a few $1,000s, right? Whereas committing to a certain amount every single month, I think could be a bit of a stretch. And you probably need to look into that, because in my mind, and maybe in other users' minds, I'd still be thinking I still have to pay my zakah. Things aren't going to be right with God until I do that. So maybe this is something to consider. Again, some of the things I liked was a very clear research. I think you are definitely onto something. I think you need to think about the monetization aspect a lot more, and how you plan on actually getting some kind of return or dividends, or maybe reducing someone's outgoing remittance every month. I think those would be the killer features that would really pull me
Otherwise, this feels like another app that allows me to donate money. But I think there's something really cool there, guys, that I think you need to just dig a little bit deeper into. And again, the devil is always in the details. How are these businesses going to return any kind of return or dividends or profit? Again, you guys could come back and say, no, this is just purely, zakah based, and we're looking for the goodwill and nature for folks. But things for you guys to think about. And just again, kudos on the TAM, the go-to-market, and the competitive analysis. I haven't seen that so far up until your presentation.
Absolutely. A lot of good reflections there. So yeah, big shout out to the team. And Ali, if you don't mind sharing a link to that mug that you've got in the Slack as well, a few of us might want to order that as well. So yeah, if you don't mind, I'll be waiting on that. But yeah, awesome stuff. We will move on to money crowds. So they'll be tackling a problem that a lot of us are familiar with, and without spoiling it, it's around digital Hagbads, if I'm not mistaken. So over to you, team.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, are you able to see?
Yes, we can see that, Mona.
Okay, amazing. You can start the timer now. So, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Money Crowds. This is an app that we have created that will allow you to save with your community in a convenient and transparent way. So this is a lovely team that I had the pleasure of working with. We had Mohammed, Abdi Nasir, Deq, and Hibach on the development side, and Adina and Asma were working on the user research and presentation. And then I led up the group and worked mainly on the UX UI design of the user interface screens and presentation as well. So the problem statement that we focused on for this hackathon is how can we offer a halal savings and borrowing model for diverse communities? So what is the problem? For anybody who doesn't know what a Hagbad is, it's a rotating savings scheme where one member of the group will receive a payout each month. Everybody will contribute the same amount and somebody will receive a payout of group savings on a monthly basis. This means that members can reach their saving goals earlier than saving individually. It's interest-free, which allows Muslims to use it as a halal way of saving. However, there is an inconvenience surrounding traditional Hagbad groups. It takes a lot of time to meet in person. There's a lot of cash in hand as well, which is difficult to manage. And somebody has to actually manage and remember who is taking a payout each month as well. So there's a lot of responsibility on individuals. The team conducted research and found a lack of digital options to save or access loans without interest. We also found people with low credit were not able to attain loans from banks. And also a Hagbad is not accessible for people who don't have a group to save within their immediate circle as well. So these are the problems that we wanted to target. We conducted further research as well to understand the specific user needs surrounding saving as a Muslim. And we've created a general persona which summarizes what we have found. So meet Mariam. She's a working mum with 2 children. She was born in Somalia and is very well versed in the culture and community aspect of Hagbad. She leads her local Hagbad group of 10 people, but she's found it really difficult to communicate with members and has found manually tracking contributions and payouts stressful. She's tech savvy and wants a way to streamline her Hagbad process, and her priorities are for her saving solution to be interest-free and efficient to use as well. So how can Money Crowds help Mariam? Money Crowds will allow Mariam to digitalize her Hagbad saving process in a secure and transparent way. She will no longer have to manually take notes of who is contributing or who is due a payout. It will alleviate the stress of Mariam chasing those who are late with their contributions. And it offers an interest-free option for her to save money. And the Hagbad element means that Mariam can access her payout as early or late as she chooses. Even if she chooses to take the Hagbad last, this savings method is beneficial as it keeps her accountable and prevents her from chipping into her savings, which often happens. at least with me. The monetization of this app will mainly be centered in monthly flat fees, deferred and missed payments as well. So as part of this hackathon, we decided to focus on a particular user journey, that is the login and join a crowd process. So this will make more sense as we go through the process as well. But this slide just depicts the task flow that we planned as a group. In terms of the tech stack we used, Figma was used for ideation, for low fidelity designs, and the final user interface screens as well. We also used Mendix to create a working demo, and React will be used for app development in future as well. So let's have a look at our demo. Hopefully this will work. Amazing. So this is the initial screen you'll be presented with on the app. So get started. You'll be presented with an onboarding screen. So at this point, we're assuming that the user has already registered. They've gone through the authentication and security processes, and they've set up their banking details in the app as well. So they're just logging in for the first time. So you log in, put in your email and your password. And this is your main accounts page. So at the moment, we aren't in any crowds. So there's a small description of what the two buttons do. And for this specific journey, we'll be focusing on join a crowd. So you'll be presented with a questionnaire. You can say, I would like to save £600, for example, over 3 months. And I would like to be position 3. So this means that you will be taking your payout in the 3rd month here. Find crowds, and then the app will generate your closest matches in terms of crowds that are already created. So on this screen, you can see how much the crowd is saving, the number of participants needed, the monthly contribution you'd be making, and how long it goes on for. So if you each contribute £200 a month, that means every person will get £600 in each month as well. So you click that you want to join this crowd, join crowd, and you're back to your main account page and you have joined the crowd. So if we can get back to the presentation.
You've got a minute left, Mona, yeah?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So future plans. As part of the continuous improvement of the app, we aim to introduce more features. We want to introduce a learning hub where we educate users more about the concept of Hagbud. We want money crowds to increase user financial literacy, especially with Somalis who represent an underserved community in the fintech space. We also want to introduce an option to create private crowds with your family and friends. So currently the app matches you with individuals who have the same saving goals, which is great for those who don't have people to save with. But we also want to cater to those who just want to digitalize the Hagbud process that they already have on an app. So you could just join with people that you know. And finally, we will be localizing the app. So the default language will be Somali, as we are first catering to this user group. Thank you everyone for listening, and open for any questions as well.
Nice. I'm so impressed with the timekeeping of everyone. You've got 10 seconds. Let me just stop this before it goes off. Now another great presentation. Yeah, I think this is a problem a lot of us can relate to, especially if you're in a cash Hagbud where you have to take the money. But yeah, really good slides. I thought if I just can mention one thing, I think it was really interesting when you mentioned focusing on the Hagbud manager, and kind of I was hoping that, but then it felt like you're not going to start with the private crowds, because the Hagbud manager could have brought over the 5 people, for example, who are part of their Hagbud. So that's an interesting take rather than chasing individual end users. But
amazing.
Yeah, I will hand over to Abdiqani, but yeah, really cool stuff.
Thank you. I think it's still sharing. I'm not sure how to get off it on Zoom. Apologies.
Yeah, you are still sharing. I was just seeing if I could stop you sharing, but I'm not sure myself.
Oh, I think I found it. Sorry.
Perfect. No problem. Over to you, Abdiqani.
All right. Thank you for the presentation, Mona. I thought that was very clear and a really great idea. Hagbud, Chalmers,
merry-go-rounds, Roscas. They're found in every single community and in every single country in Africa. This is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. I think there's one aspect that you might have underplayed with Hagbard, which is the social and community aspect, right? So a lot of people do Hagbard as a way to socialize. They go around, meet each other. So what this digitization sometimes can do is remove those social ties. I think another thing I think you have to think quite deeply about is your, target customer. Is it really the older woman who's in her 50s and whatnot? They might not be as technologically savvy or inclined to use such a platform. I think maybe there needs to be a reframing and maybe pick a much more younger demographic, right? I could totally see myself and my friends doing something like this. The one thing I think I would definitely challenge you and the team on, Mona, is around your monetization. So monthly fees and late fees. So in theory, what could happen is if I put in $100 a month and there's 12 of us over 12 months, I could end up getting less than I initially put in, right? And the maths I would be doing in my head is I put in 100, pounds. If I just put it in a savings account, I would probably, if I wasn't inclined to go after maybe halal, returns, I would get a few percent back, especially with today's inflation over the course of a year. So one thing I think I would definitely think about is how to make sure people aren't losing money. And I would even go one step further and say, because you have a regular cash flow coming in, you could maybe push people to ensure they pay at the beginning of the month, right? Or ensure there's at least one installment in, sitting in an account. And then, that way you have a good sum of money to maybe put in some kind of fixed term deposit account or somewhere else. That way you're getting a return on that money, and you could potentially make this service free or even give them a small return. That would be a huge pull factor for me. But just going back to what you're talking about, I think the product is very well conceptualized. I think when you talk about numbers, and this isn't just for you, this is for everybody, please give numbers in terms of the number of customers and people you spoke with, what were the percentages, and whether these numbers were statistically significant. That just adds a lot more flavor and strength, I think, to any argument that you end up making. But just to summarize, I think a really great product. Huge market opportunity. Going after the Somali community is definitely the right direction, because you can definitely grab these. I definitely would build a quick MVP and iterate. And I think I would definitely think about which customers you go after and how you could maybe give folks a return on this Hagbard. If you could hit all those nails on the head, I think you'd be off to the races. I think that's it. And I think one more thing, competitive analysis, that was missing. But job good done, and a big opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. I could see Mohammed's got his camera on, so we will move on to Abon quite swiftly.
Share my screen.
Yes, thank you, bro.
Hold on. Minimize that. Okay.
Yep, you're good. You're good to start, guys, when you're ready.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good, yeah. Perfect. Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are team 2. We don't actually have a name, but we do have a product, alhamdulillah, called Aqon, and we're just gonna get into it, inshallah. So if Musa just goes on to the next slide. This is our team, lovely fellas. We've got Jamila, who's our user researcher. We've got Mahmoud, who's our talented product designer. We've got Gele, who's our developer, and myself, Ta'ban, product manager and designer. Next slide. Yeah, so this is basically our focal point during this entire product. We were deeply looking into how we could improve financial literacy in the Horn of Africa in particular. These are some of the stats and some of the research that was done by Jamila using secondary resources. We found that Somalia and the Horn of Africa, that we are suffering from a lack of financial education resources. So this is what we're looking to hopefully solve and provide a solution for. The other element the other factor that we're sort of honed into is looking at unemployment rate and looking at creating other avenues of income for the opportunity of disposable income for the general mass in the Horn of Africa. One of the great advantages that really allowed us to even consider building out this solution is that Somalia is the closest thing to a cashless society. So yeah, if we just move on to the next slide. So we did kind of trail down looking at, social media, going on TikTok, looking at, the great TikTok comments from our community. People talking a lot of controversy over crypto. You have even here someone experimenting with taxonomy, playing around with, crypto meaning sir, and then playing around with cryptograph being sirtin and crypto being sir, etc. The next slide. So if Gail would like to take over.
Yeah, introducing Aqon. So Aqon is essentially the Horn's first learn to earn platform for everything crypto. So when the user first launches the application, they will be met with the Discover page. And in the Discover page, there will be an array of cryptocurrency courses that they can choose from. And from there, a user can really become an expert. They can learn cryptocurrency from there, yeah.
So with our dashboard with the Discovery unit, we are going to have an array of different courses. So there would be short courses, there would also be longer form courses, there would also be pathways. So given an opportunity to gain better expertise in a particular field, everything from the basics of crypto to further delving into perhaps security and different elements of cryptocurrency. The platform that we're looking to build and that we've sort of prototyped here is giving the user the opportunity to not only learn and improve their financial literacy, but also earn. So there is monetary value there as well. So, and then once they do finish the course and finish the quizzes, etc., they can redeem their rewards and then transfer those rewards. And we do support EVC Plus and Z. So now moving on to the prototype, and Musa is just going to go over that.
Okay, yeah. So just quickly going through the actual prototype, we didn't get a chance to really develop this, mainly because of that time constraints. So we basically built out this prototype on Figma. This is essentially the discovery page where you've got an array of courses that you can just go through and click on the one that really that you want to earn money from, and you can see that each one of them have like a reward, which is the money that we're talking about. The page is in detail, but if you wanted to click on start earning, you just enter your email, log in. Once you log in, you click on test your knowledge. And we basically designed this in a way that if you were to answer it incorrectly, you'll basically be told the right answer, and you will move on to the quiz, and you won't get as much as a reward as you would have gotten if you got all the answers correct. But then if you answer it correctly, you can move on and essentially gain your, in this example, your Ethereum. And then you click on add to wallet. And once you add to wallet, you can essentially see how much balance you have. This person has been absolutely devout, like killing the game in terms of answering all the questions and just become an expert in crypto. And it's great because you get financial literacy and you earn money from this. So then you can essentially move that money from USD or from Ethereum, etc., to like your EVC or any other wallets that you have. And Somalia being a cashless society, it's just perfect. It works together. And that is the whole walkthrough. I'm going to move on to the next part of the slide. How do I get by?
Just to let you know, Musa, you've got a minute and about 20 seconds, yeah?
Okay, cool. No worries. Passing all this to Jamila, who's going to go through all this.
In terms of the market size that we looked at, we had to figure out how many people are actually interested in blockchain, and then we had to narrow it down to how many people are actually invested into it via blockchain exchanges and wallets, and then we had to narrow it down to how many people in Africa are invested, and then how many people in Somalia would be interested. And then when we looked at trends, we saw how the millennials and Gen Z were a lot more interested in anything to do with fintech and SaaS compared to the previous generations. And yeah, so in terms of Aqoon, we just really wanted it to be a must-have app for the people to use to increase their financial literacy. Oh, and sorry, just to mention again, 60% of the people in Somalia are below the age of 25, which is why they are our main target audience. Most of them would be high school students, university, college students, school leavers, graduates. Yeah, and also because we know that 75% of them use their phone on a regular day-to-day transactions and day-to-day use, it would just be a perfect fit. And yeah, these are two examples of buyer personas. We've got Adi, who's 23-year-old, high school graduate, who's a waiter, married from Johar. Nasra, who's 19, studying economics in university, who's a student, single from Hamar.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much, team. Jamila, any final words, or you lot finished?
Yeah, Musa, do you want to touch up on the revenue real quick?
Just like, yeah, one word, please, Musa, like 2, maybe 3.
Okay, yeah. So quick words in terms of revenue is essentially we're going to be partnering with like fintech companies in the region to create like limited edition courses launched by senior leaders, and we're going to earn money and monetize it by essentially working on other crypto, and they're going to be basically financing these questionnaires.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had a question about how where does the money come from somebody having completed it. So is it that the partner they partner with fintech companies, and then the money comes from those fintechs?
Yeah, that and also like a lot of these like crypto the people that develop these cryptos, that they have these questionnaires. An example is on Coinbase, right? So if you have Coinbase, you have the ability to fill out questionnaires, and you get like these cryptos that are new to the market or like already out there, and you can get a reward from them. So it was similar to that idea, but the fact that Africa, or even Somalia in particular, there's not a lot of foots in that inside that the country, so people being financially literate is important to them. So the more people that are literate in terms of crypto and all that kind of stuff, the more people that are going to be using it. So it's a win-win.
Got you. Thank you very much. Nice. A few good things, like the fact that everyone in your team presented, which is pretty dope. And this way of presenting, I might actually nick this rather than the traditional slides. This is pretty slick. I'm going to hand over to Abdighani, who I know is very, very happy because there was the mention of a TAM by this team, and so yeah, I'm sure Abdighani is just like finally. So over to you.
No way.
Musa, can you just go back to the last slide, please?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought that was an interesting end to the presentation.
Yeah, we're just asking for some financial help, really, and we thought how great we tend it.
That's basically not the kind of customer you want to be going after, right?
100% not. 100%.
So I think firstly, but it clearly very well researched. I think it was pretty robust. Your go-to-market strategy, like all the key components are there from what I would expect from a pitch deck. So well done on that. I know you guys had a very short amount of time. Good job on the demo. I don't think I quite share the same concern as Mohammed or skepticism around funding it. You know, as you said, Coinbase and the likes and other coins are giving customers some incentive, even if it's a fraction of a coin to learn about it, to use it. Where I think you guys could really make money is the off-ramp, right? Off-ramping into ZAD EVC Plus, you could charge a small transaction fee to allow people to sell their crypto. So in theory, there are all of these, paid surveys and courses people can do, collate them, offer them. And if they end up making, 0.1 of an Ethereum coin or whatnot, you could then definitely take a small transaction fee when they try and off ramp and sell it for dollars on EVC Plus and or ZAD or whatever mobile money they use in Puntland. So there's definitely something there. I think I'm not that concerned with that piece. The thing I really wanted to impress on you guys is the numbers. You started off with something like 2 trillion. That sounds like the US debt ceiling or deficit. And then you narrowed it down somehow to 5 billion for Somalia. That is wildly optimistic, if I'm honest. What I would say is, at best, it's a few $100 million. And it's okay to start off small, with your market size. The great thing about Somaliland and Somalia is it's very open and progressive. So it's very good for experimentation. But you do have to look at other markets if you really are looking for scale in multi-billion-dollar markets. So you'd have to go after a Kenya, Tanzania, and Egypt, or some of these other markets to get the total addressable market that you're looking for. So this is one thing I think I would definitely impress on people on the call. Somalia and Somaliland are really great markets to start off with. Understand your customers, get feedback. But to say 5 billion is the market size or TAM is I think as I said, highly optimistic. The other thing I would just maybe underscore, and not just in your pitch, Musa and the Agon team, I'd say in everybody's, Money Crowds, Tirso, the key thing you should definitely try and do is get an MVP out as quickly as possible, even if it means you guys doing, responding to messages in the background to give it a real, feel, and getting feedback from customers and users as soon as possible. That way you're able to iterate, pivot, etc. There are a few other things, but I think that is most of the points. And I really like the angle around social media. I like the fact that you guys went online, looked at comments and showed that. I think that's the definition of in my opinion, trying to understand your customers. So well done on that one.
Awesome
Sorry,
stuff.
just to quickly touch up on that, I'm thinking what you mentioned with the market size. It was actually because we had hopes to expand it to neighboring countries and then to additional countries in Africa. So I think the number was actually from that and not Somalia, just to clarify, because I don't think we had time, but it's what you said basically. So thank you.
Cool.
And also in order to find out localization in particular. So localizing to Somalia, localizing to all these different regions.
Yeah, sorry, just to underscore the last point I made, mobile money is pretty big in Africa. As I said, I would just think a bit more about that off-ramp into mobile money, right? Maybe you collate, as I said, all these courses, all these ways that people can earn crypto, and then you end up being the off-ramp where you can, as I said, charge people a bit of money, a few percentage to move their crypto out and into these mobile money wallets that they have. That could be a viable business. And I think there could be something there.
Awesome. Really good stuff, team. And thank you, Adireni. So we've just gone, we've got one final team. So stay with us, everyone, because they've got quite an interesting proposition too. So I could even see from Filsan, that's the background picture. So over to Ururi as the final team to present today.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. So yeah, we're Ururi. Big shout out to the team, Filson, Naima, Aden, Salma, and Huda. A lot of us have been sick. A lot of us, it was a transitioning kind of into...
Adam, I was just gonna, I can hear you, but I was just gonna say it's a bit blurry. And I don't think that's intentional. It looks very zoomed in, maybe.
I'm not sure if it's sharing. I'm not sharing it.
Sorry, let me try that again.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was just saying, yeah, there's like a few of people on the team, they're transitioning into tech, and like, mashallah, like, yeah, we've done like really, really well. So I'm really, really proud of the team. Just wait for.
So does it look blurry for others? It's still blurry for me, but I'm not sure if that's just me.
Listen, maybe put it into presenter view, like on Canva.
If someone could just say in
yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think I'll just share it.
Yeah, it is blurry
because it's not working for some reason.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, so our platform is Aruri. Aruri is helping to make fundraising easier for Somalis across the world. So we have Samira. Samira is a donator. Samira has a kind of a large amount of disposable income. Maybe she works in tech. She really cares about Somali causes, but she's struggling to find suitable causes to donate to. The problem with GoFundMe is the largest market share for this type. It has a 40% market share for GoFundMe and crowdfunding platforms. But she struggles to find credible campaigns because there's a lot of duplications. So whenever there is, a bomb back home or, immediate crisis, GoFundMe, there are multiple campaigns, and she's unsure about which campaign is the most suitable to donate to and has the biggest kind of impact and the ability to deliver on its pledge. She also likes to donate to like local Somali projects, but when she Googles and checks SEO, she finds a lot of larger charity organizations and struggles to find local grassroots organizations. When there was a fire in Hargeisa, she really liked a website called Hargeisa Relief, which coordinated official relief efforts. And she wished that there was a platform, that helped identify credible places to donate to Somali causes. Next page. So Sharmake, he's from Basaso, and he basically, he's trying to raise money to support for drought relief. So Sharmake has posted his campaign onto GoFundMe and LaunchGood, which relies on shares and social media shares and the spreading through that way for engagement to get his funds up. But Sharmake, he's not really big on Twitter. He doesn't really have that many Twitter followers. He's struggling to get any retweets. He's sending it to people, but Sharmake has the capacity to deliver. Sharmake has the vans. Sharmake has the local connections, but he's struggling to get engagement onto his campaign, even though he's very credible and he wants support with that. So Sharmake also has an embedded link on his website, but he doesn't have that much traffic going to it. When Sharmake does try to get the money out of GoFundMe or LaunchGood, because he's based back home, they're unsupported countries, he has to get the money released via someone else in the diaspora, someone in the UK or America, then has to transfer the money via a third party as a money transfer like the Habshil, which creates a very kind of time-consuming process. And this is a very time-sensitive campaign such as drought. So it raises a lot of concerns for Sharmake. Hand it over to Salma.
So why do Somalis use fundraising platforms? So essentially they see it as a viable alternative way of helping their people abroad, filling the void of sufficient government-led responses. We also found the UN Development Programme estimates 1.6 billion is roughly sent back home, and 40% of people rely on money from abroad, so that's quite a high dependency rate. And just in the corner, the cycle of crisis in Somalia is that Somalis are facing different problems on all fronts. So we've got floods, droughts, decades-long conflict, disease outbreak, and inadequate humanitarian response. So just the next slide. Why is it important to find and fund local Somali projects? So we've got cost to social services, arts, and youth centers in countries with large Somali diaspora, which means that the Somali community are now largely becoming increasingly reliant on fundraising. We also have the problem with large charity organizations have been increasingly in the news for wasting resources and other scandals, which is causing distrust. And GoFundMe campaigns raised more than $416 million for pandemic assistance. So there's quite actually a market for it. And then if we go on to user research, a survey. So we did our own survey and we found that 80% of donators relied on social media platforms to identify Somali causes and projects to donate to, and 60% still find it difficult to find Somali-run causes and projects to donate to online. Our solution is a trusted platform for all Somali fundraising projects that's essentially going to support both the campaigners and the donators to ease their difficulties. And we're trying to create a centralized hub for all Somali fundraising projects. We're going to be showcasing projects from trusted organizations and also have improved payment options for those in the Horn of Africa.
So now we're just going to do a live demo on Figma from the point of view of Shadmarket, the campaigner. So I'll just go on to that. Sorry, everyone, like I've got a cold, so my voice is kind of croaky. So this is assuming that this is the first time that Shadmarket is on our site. He must have heard from a friend that this is a reputable organization. So what you do first is he clicks on creating a campaign, and then this is the form that he starts filling out.
We're still seeing the slides.
Oh, really? Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, no worries,
Okay,
no worries.
cool.
And you've got about like a minute, 30 seconds.
Okay, cool. That's plenty of time. Let me go back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that again. So when Shadmarket first enters the site, this is what he sees. So a few cards on the campaigns that are currently trending, categories that he can look into, options to give sadaqah, as well as more information about Aruri and the money that Aruri has built on the platform so far. So he goes to start a campaign. He fills in the title, the goal amount, who he's raising it for. Shadmarket is a part of an organization, so he chooses that. And then he has the option to either use a business account, create a new account, or set this up later. He chooses to set this up later. And then he goes next. And then he talks a little bit more about the organization. He adds a photo, adds a tagline, chooses category, location, and if he wants the funds to be partial, so a lot of people can chip in, or if he wants just one person to chip in, and then he uses the date and time. And then sorry, so this is like his story, and here are like a few tips that he can use to build up a good story. And then he can also request for Zakat verification that one of our team members will look into, and then he press next. And then here are like the terms and conditions. And if it's something urgent, like a disaster or relief or something, he can press this widget here, and then that will notify the team and he'll be prioritized. And then congratulations, he's made his campaign, and now the team's looking at it. And then hopefully he should, well, we haven't demoed it, but like he'll be able to see his thing later. So yeah.
Perfect.
I'll pass it over to her.
Okay, so I was just going to say just a final word from yourselves.
Okay, so next, inshallah, we will build out the rest of our MVP, which includes the campaign payout flow. And then we'll also have money mobile payment options made available in Horn of Africa. There'll be trending fund section. It will also increase the pre-vetted list of organizations based back home. We'll continue building brand identity as well, CEO, user trust, etc.
Amazing. Great stuff. Again, really good to see a collaborative presentation.
Sorry, just quickly, Mohammed, do we still have time, or have we run out of time? Because I wanted to share that. If not, then that's fine.
No, yeah, you've run out. Yeah, you've run out. And
No,
we're
that's
kind
fine.
of running over as well.
Just quickly, so that the team knows, we've got like the site running. It's not fully finished, but we've actually got it. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Share a URL in the chat, Naima. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, you're in the chat, and we can take it from there. Okay, cool. So Abdurrani, over to you. Final reflections on the final team. You could stop sharing now. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Aruri, Adam, Naima, Huda, and team, thank you for ending today's set of presentations on a high. If I understand properly, the value proposition of Aruri is really to streamline payments and give visibility to campaigns that will have a direct impact on actual people on the ground. Is that correct? Just so I make sure I've conceptualized it properly.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, fantastic. So something like this clearly is incredibly important. I think we all give
huge amounts of money to charities. I think what we're all concerned about is the money really going to those in need? And interestingly enough, I think maybe 3 years ago, there was a study by Give Directly where they just literally gave cash directly to people. You know, they fired money straight into people's mobile money in places in Kenya, and they showed that had a vastly more higher impact on people's well-being and livelihoods and all the key metrics that they use to evaluate than actual programs, right? So you have to, of course, put this in context. That was just one study, but this kind of thing, I think, can have a huge impact. So just going through the slides, I think the first thing is, and this is not just to Aruri, it's to every startup that I've seen. You give some really good numbers, you discuss users, you need to give absolute numbers. It's not adequate to say 80%, 80% of what? 80% of 5 people, 80% of 500 people, so please, for the sake of completeness, be very clear on the specific numbers, otherwise it could erode a little bit of credibility there. But going directly to your solution, I think I would love to have heard a bit more around your monetization strategy, unless that slipped my mind. I suspect you'll probably get a small commission or transaction fee, or what you could do is you could accept card payments and take a small cut on interchange on the card payments that's made on the platform. So there are multiple options here. I think just a bit more color on that. And I think a big question is, how are you going to vet and verify these campaigns, right? So I think generally a lot of diaspora communities, particularly the Somalis, are very, very generous and I think caring about those back home, right? I think we all give huge sums of money, right? So the question then is, how can we make sure that each campaign is verified? Because at the same time, if I found out and I was using your platform and I was giving, say, hundreds of dollars, and then I found out one day that one of the campaigns was, fraudulent, despite the fact that 99% were great, I would lose complete trust in the platform. So this is something you need to think about, maybe some kind of reputation score or verification. I think that piece is something you need to think a bit more about. I think, again, some of the other pitfalls, competitive analysis. I thought you spoke a lot about the pros and cons of other options, so that was good. Maybe a little bit more on the TAM. I think that would have been useful. Other than that, I think you guys were on the right track. Just the monetization bit would have been good to hear. But well done on closing, today's set of presentations on such a high note.
Brilliant. Definitely echo that. Thank you very, very much to all the team. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a 5-minute break. I know it's 9 o'clock now, but we're just going to go take a few minute break, get Abdighani in a room, and for him to deliberate with himself about who the winner is today. As you noticed, we were hoping to have a few other panelists, but they weren't able to join us. In the meantime, what I would really like is for everyone here, whilst you're taking those couple minutes, just to fill out that feedback form. Every year we get some feedback, and every year we hear things that we should do differently and improve. And we want to do that. So it's literally 6 questions, 3 of which are multiple choice. So no excuses. While we just deliberate with Abdighani, if you just fill in the form, literally should not take you more than 3 minutes. And you will hopefully give us a few good things for us to think about for the next one. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, inshallah. And yeah, Musa, we'll consider that a request in next year's hackathon. Okay. We're back again, everybody. Yes, salam alaikum, everybody, once again. Can I get a show of hands? Who filled out the forms? You could like raise a. Can we raise a hand on here? Can you raise like a hand? Asma, shout out to you. Dek, much appreciated. Ramla, really appreciate that. Mohammed, and Muna as well. It was a for those that filled it out. It was a short form, right?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Yeah.
Pretty quick. Perfect. So anybody that didn't fill it out, you heard it was a very, very short form. So we've deliberated. We've come back with some news. I hope somebody's du'as will definitely come through. That much is certain. So I'll go into I'll read it out like this: the third place team, then the second place team, and then we'll hand over to Abdiqani to share the winner. But just before we do, yeah, maybe a few more cameras would be good. But yeah, that's a great shout. We could see like live reactions. It'd be much appreciated. Yes. All right. So third place. Firstly, everyone did pretty solid stuff, and it was really, really good to see what you did in a weekend. I'm sure like you lot will learn quite a few things, even if not, you met some really good people. Yeah, and honestly, like a big shout out just for having made it this far, because we all know that in each team there were a few people that unfortunately couldn't make it for whatever reason and couldn't continue. So just really appreciate that to you lot. So in third place, we've got Aqan. The Aqan team came third. So shout out to you lot. Top 3 finish. It's a podium finish. It was just really good presentation, like a big problem with a big opportunity that you were addressing. So yeah, I think pretty slick overall. And the feedback generally was very, very positive. So shout out to the Aqan team. In second place, we've got Money Crowd in second place. So that was for those that may not remember, that was the team that were presenting about the Hagbad, Muna presenting. Again, it was like a problem most of us could relate to. Very well presented, like you've clearly thought this through, very well designed as well. So again, like pretty solid all around. So Money Crowd is the second place team, mashallah. And I'll hand over to Abdiqani to share who is number 1 and why.
Thank you, Mohammed. So before I announce who came first, I just want to commend everybody on the unbelievably high standards, great pitches, depth and thought in, I think, the work. So I think this speaks volumes to your entrepreneurial spirit, and caveats are always that these are our perspectives. So please take everything with just a little bit of a pinch of salt. So the team that came top was, drum roll please, Tirso. Well done, team Tirso. I think we thought that they were hitting on some really interesting macro level trends around remittance. They were thinking about what the next generation of remittance is. I think they had a really interesting and novel approach using microfinance. And I think they had a pretty cool demo. So well done, Ali, Ahmed, Ramla, and team for a job well done. But as Mohammed probably would say, everybody on today's call was a winner. So congrats and congrats to Tirso, Money Crowd, and Aqan for making it into the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, mashallah. Why not? Final word from Tirso? Tirso, you don't want to say anything?
I can't take credit for all of this. So I want to say thanks to the team. They all came together, very creative problem solving, and we deliberated on many different ideas. And yeah, I think it was a good experience, and I hope we can continue to work together.
Can I just add, now that my mic is working, everyone did amazing. I liked all the projects we saw. Yeah, I just want to say, I think everyone's a winner here.
And one last thing I'm also going to add is I think everybody should continue their projects. I'd love to be able to see these actually come to life and not actually stop these projects.
Yeah, let's all invest in each other. But just echoing what my team said, it was such a great experience. My first hackathon with Somalis in tech, kind of working with everyone, huge skills, super creative, dedicated people. So we'll definitely be working together in the future, inshallah. And well done to everyone else.
Yeah, I just want to say also my first hackathon as well, and it was great working with the team, but also great seeing everyone get involved and do their teams. It was great. It was a great experience overall. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, no, amazing. That caps off a big weekend. I want to say thank you to the whole Somalis in tech team as well. Everyone did a lot. Adam, Faiza, Marian, Idil, Abshir as well. So yeah, really solid stuff. We're gonna probably have a bit of a break now. And Abdiqani as well, thank you for turning up and amazing feedback. I'm sure I really genuinely want to see these ideas continue. When we were thinking, fintech, we were it might be difficult to do something over a weekend with regulations and such, but you lot really delivered a lot. So take Abdiqani's feedback and yeah, I guess connect with each other. Keep it up, and amazing that you all delivered this stuff for working first time together. So yeah, amazing, and Habib and accent, everyone. Appreciate you lot turning up.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Salam alaikum.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Where can we find the live video?
YouTube, I think.